Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to episode 87 of the More in You podcast. How's your day going? I hope awesome, 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 awesome. As always, so is mine as well. So today I want to share with you 7 ways to maximize the more in you. This is the More in You podcast, and we talk about various things. But today I just kind of want to harness on, that phrase the more in you. And I just want to talk about 7 ways to actually maximize it. And I believe to maximize the more within you, there is so much that God has put within each one of us. And often I find that even in our lifetime, we may never discover the fullness of what that is within us, except God really helps us to harness it, to really dig deep. And I believe one of the ways that we can discover, that we can maximize the more within us is to begin to go on a journey of discovery. So the very first thing I think is you need to discover you, discover you, because often we don't, it's funny how if you don't begin to learn to study you, you won't even really know what you have within you, if I can say it that way. So when I say a journey of discovering you, what do I mean? It simply means like we keep on discovering. Do you know what your strengths are? Do you know what your weaknesses are? Do you know the things that, do you know what your gifts are? Do you know what your abilities are? Do you know the things that make you tick? Have you ever done, you know, some of those personality tests to find out what is your temperament? Why do you behave the way you do? Why do you act the way you do? Why do sometimes, you know, you seem like you're doing things in a way different from everybody else? How are you wired? Have you ever done the study of you? Have you ever, it's interesting. We go to school to study a lot of things, but often we don't even know what we carry within. And I find, why am I saying do a study of you? Because the more you study you, like John Maxwell often say in his book 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, that to know you is to grow you. So if you don't know you, how do you begin to maximize all that you have within you until you know what your gifts are, you know what your strengths are? I remember, okay, let me use myself as an example. At the time when I began, when I went back into writing, I would not even have really started to write again. But when God reminded me and said, "Remember, you used to write as a child." I'm like, "Oh, that's true. I did used to write as a child." So I was thinking, how can somebody forget that they used to write as a child? That's an example. How do you forget? So what I'm saying is that there are some gifts that may have been buried in you, because of life. Life happens, and life happens. Life is so fast. We're so busy. We're so fast paced. We're just going, 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 and we're not maximizing what we have. For some of us, if we would just pause and just begin to study ourselves, we will find that there are some gifts that we have that we can use, to our advantage. For example, some of us have been saying, "Oh, I want to start." I want to have a new stream of income. Maybe I have one. I have a mainstream of income, my salary. But it would be nice to be able to earn extra money on the side. For some of us, there are some gifts that we have within us that we have not even discovered. If we would just begin to dig deep, what are the, and just writing down, you can start by writing, what are the 10 things I like to do? What are the 10 things that I would do even if I didn't get paid? What are some of the things that I can do if they said they were going to pay all of us the same amount of money? Those are some of the ways. So there are so many ways that you can look at it. You can go online as well, and I think I'll put it in the comments. Some of the personality, maybe I'll put about 2 links to personality tests. If you are someone that has never done a personality test of yourself, you don't know what your temperament is, you don't know why you behave the way you do, you don't know why you are doing you are you. There are so many things that you find out in a temperament. It's so interesting. You might think, it's just one of those things, but no, it actually takes you on a journey of discovering you. It helps you to be able to see yourself better. It helps you to know, oh, these are the things that are special about me. These are the things that are unique about me. This is why I do things like this. Oh, this is why I'm wired this way. You'll be amazed. It's almost like an eye opener. It opens your eyes to a whole new world. So one of the things that we maximize one of the ways we maximize the more in us is by doing a discovery of ourselves, going on a journey of discovering you. The second thing we discover, the more we do, because there is so much within each one of us. The second way that we find out, maximize the more within us is by discovering what our purpose is. When God created you, like I often will say, if for a manufacturer to create this pen, there was an intent in the heart of the manufacturer. There was something he was thinking about when he said, "Oh, I want this pen to be able to write. I want this pen to be able to sign. I want them to be able to use this pen." This pen was not meant to poke my computer. It wasn't meant to to use to press the buttons on a phone. No, this pen had an intent. It had a reason why it was created. The same way you and I have reasons why we're created. God created each one of us for a reason. And so one of the ways that you can maximize the more within you is to begin to ask God, what did you create me for? Because you find that, like I mentioned, getting to know you means that as you get to know everything about you, and then you find out what your purpose is, then there comes an alignment. Your gifts come in alignment to your purpose. Your gifts, your abilities, your skills, your strength, everything now comes to harness your purpose. It helps your purpose. It helps you to get to where God wants you to get to, because your gifts and your purpose come in alignment. So it is so important to begin to, before you can maximize, you need to discover. As you discover, you need to develop. And then you're going to talk about going to maximize the more within you. Another point I want to share with you is, now you've discovered what this, you've discovered all that is about you, or not even discover, you're starting to unravel, because it's like an onion. You are starting to unravel it. Then you must seek to say, okay, how can I maximize my potentials? How can I maximize these potentials? How can I maximize the gifts on the inside of me? How can I put a demand on it? How can I put a demand on the, on the skills that I have? How can I, what courses can I take? What training can I take? Who can I learn from? How can I harness this potential? So let me use an example. Maybe you are a very good listener. You find out that you have a gift of listening. How can you harness this potential? Maybe in your career path, how can this be useful to you? Maybe in business, how can this be useful to you? Maybe you're someone, how can you maximize those gifts to the maximum, so that you're not just using them, you refine them, so that they come to a place of mastery. So how can you ensure that your gifts come into a place of mastery? There are things that you might do. If you look at a man like Picasso was a man whereby he, must have developed that gift of painting. But guess what? He now was just not a regular painter that you see out there. He became a master. He became someone a name that was reckoned with, a name that when they mentioned painting, they would have to mention Picasso's name, because he stood out above every other person. And that is when you look at the lives of masters, you see that they weren't just the regular average person. They took their gift to a new level. When you talk about someone like Tiger Woods, when we talk about golf, he didn't just know how to play golf. Like everybody knows, okay, we go play golf for recreation. He took golf to a new level. He mastered the skill of golf. He mastered how to play golf, such that golf became like his main priority. So when you maximize your potential, means you put a demand on it. You refine it. You keep refining it. You keep looking for ways. How can I refine my gifts? How can I get better? Do I need to do some courses? Do I need to just learn? Do I need to just read up? What do I need to do to maximize? But like I said at the beginning, if you do not discover what those gifts are, if you have not discovered what those potentials are, how do you even begin to maximize it? So you must first discover them. You must begin to develop your potential. Then you can say, okay, you know what? I want to maximize them. I want to take them to a place of mastery. I want to be able to refine them. I want to be able to use them. And how does that happen? That happens by using them over and over and over and over and over and over again. You must have heard of the 10,000 hour rule, whereby it's done. If you ask Serena Williams, she's played tennis over and over and over. It's become a habit. It's become like life to her. That's what happens when your gifts get to a stage of mastery. They become like life to you. They become what you eat, what you breathe, it's a continuous thing. So you must learn to maximize those potentials. Take them to the, and the part that will take them to the phase of mastery. As you refine them, now begin to say, how can I become a master in this field? How can I become a master in this? Maybe you have the gift of, you know how to sell. There's nothing you can't sell. You can sell. Like I had a friend like that. I remember one of my friends. She can sell. If I'm sure if I'm standing, she can sell me. She is so good at selling. She can sell anything. Really good. So you have this gift of selling. You have this knack. You just know how to sell things. How can you take that selling to a new level? How can you take it to the master? How can you refine that you become a master at it? And then what happens when people become masters? When people become masters, people begin to put a demand on that which they carry. They begin to put a demand. They begin to put a demand so that value is exchanged for what they have. So sometimes we're thinking, why is this person paid so much? Why does this person, why are people always coming to this particular person? It's because they have become a master in their industry. They have become a master in their field. They have become a master at what they do. So I mentioned you have to discover you must discover what your purpose is. You must develop those potentials. You must refine those potentials. You must take those potentials to the point of mastery. You must take them to the point of mastery. Something like speaking. Speaking is another gift that a lot of people have. But speaking has, speaking you can learn. You can learn it, and then you begin to practice it. And then you take it to the place of refining, and then you get better and you get better. And the more you practice it, that's what happens, the better you get. And the better you get, the more you become a master. So every gift that has been put on the inside of you, everything on the inside of you can be refined. Everything on the inside of me can be refined. But you and I are going to have to take that responsibility. It's our responsibility. Another point I want to share is you must intentionally grow. If you want to maximize the more that is within you, you must intentionally grow. And I actually particularly like something that one of my favorite books, or rather I will almost say it's my favorite personal development book, the 15 laws of invaluable, the 15 invaluable laws of growth by John C. Maxwell. There's something that he wrote that is so powerful that he says about growth that I want to read to us. He says, to discover your purpose, you need to grow in self-awareness. To become a better human being, you need to grow in character. To advance in your career, you need to grow in your skills. To become a better spouse or parent, you need to grow in relationships. To reach your financial goals, you need to grow in your knowledge about how money works. To enrich your soul, you need to grow spiritually, which means there is growth at every phase of our life. And it is a key that unlocks the door. You have to put in the work to actually grow. So I want to encourage, one of the ways that you maximize the more in you is by intentionally growth. Growth doesn't just happen. If you want to grow, you're going to have to put in the work. If you want to grow, you're going to have to keep doing it day in, day out, day in, day out. You have to do it over and over and over and over and over again. Next point I want to share is you must develop growth relationships and cultivate them. So fine, you've begun to intentionally grow yourself. Now begin to look around you. What are the growth relationships that can help me? Who are the mentors I need to be listening to? Who are the coaches that can help me? Who are the peer, even that's people that are in your same level, but you can learn from them. Who are the peer mentors? Who are friends that would help pull me up? Who is in my circle that I can learn from? Who is in my circle that I can pour into? Who is in my circle that we can have these discussions together, these growth discussions. So begin to look around you. Sometimes you might need to edit your contacts. You might need to edit your relationships and say, the relationship I have, are they growth relationships? Because if they're not, if they're not growth relationships, some of them I might have to say bye to them. So you need to cultivate those growth relationships and begin, you need to begin to, how would I put it? Develop those growth relationships and cultivate them. Develop them and cultivate them. Next point is live a life of significance and not success. So don't just be about success. Oh, well, let's hit the goal. Let's aim at it. Let's hit the goal. We're done. Okay, let's go to the next. Let's go to. Don't just live a life of success in the terms I'm successful, whereby everybody knows what you're doing, everybody thinks you're successful, but even you feel like there should be more to life. Rather, seek to live a life of significance. So key. A life of significance is a life that is beyond you, a life of impact, a life of influence, a life of helping other people, pouring into other people. It's not just about you, but it's about, okay, who can I help? Who can I be a blessing to? This is not just about me. This is beyond me. Begin to look at it and not just whereby with success you are zeroing and thinking, okay, this is just about me. But now you're thinking beyond you. Who are the people around you that you can say, okay, I want to be able to point to this person. I want to be able to help this person. I want to be able to influence this person. Look around you and just look at people that you can be a blessing to. And the last point, number 7, I want to share is live a transgenerational life. So it's not just when I talk about 7 ways to maximize the more within you. The more within you starts with you, but it doesn't end with you. Now you're beginning to look that, okay, this thing, if we look at God, God is a transgenerational God. He doesn't just, he didn't just create one generation and then say, okay, everything ends with you. You see that he will say, okay, for example, he used the life of Abraham, he talked about Isaac, he talked about Jacob. So he would look at one person and see generations. And the same way you and I must look at ourselves and see generations. Okay, now this is me. Okay, now how can I add value to my children? How can I help them as well to maximize the mothers within them? How can I give them a lot of the values that I have learned, whether they're spiritual values, their financial values, their, their moral values, all the things that I have, how can I pass it on to them? How can I be a blessing to them? How can I help them to be a better person? So it's not just about me, but even when I'm gone, what legacy would I be leaving behind? The faith that I'm living, is it just for me, or am I able to pass it on to them so that in the long run, they are also able to pass it on to their children? So as you're maximizing the more within you, you see like in the bigger picture, it's more than just you really. It's about you also now taking it and giving it to the next generation. And it's meant to keep going on from one to another, to another, to another. It's meant to keep going from one generation to another. Let me know which one of these 7 points has been the one that you really would like to take action on, or which one of them you think maybe you don't really want to take action on. I'd like you to know. So just leave you can send me, you can leave it in the comments. Let me know which one of them is like your favorite one and the one that you like to take action on right now. See you next week. And actually, I have a interesting announcement for you regarding the podcast. So make sure you tune in next week so that you can hear the announcement.